What's going on, Print Fam? If you're new, my name's Cam. Welcome to the Print Life Tutorials. Let's get into it. Alright, in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to convert a black and white photograph into a single color halftone film. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a bridge. I'm going to navigate to my file. Here it is, and I'm going to open it in Photoshop. You can see it's pretty much just a black and white photo. It's mainly white. It's already pretty contrasty. There's not a lot of gray in it. So this is the perfect example on how to convert this. First thing we want to do is check that our image size is correct. So you're going to go up here to the menu, select image, go to image size. Luckily for us, in this situation, they've actually already scaled it pretty well. It's 12 inches wide by 12 inches tall at 300 pixels per inch. In most cases, the crap you get from clients will be like 72 pixels per inch, and this may even be down to like 3 inches. You can verify it in pixels or inches. I always like to view the width and height in inches. Okay, so let's say it's really low resolution. You would just make your width whatever you want the final print size to be, and you would just up the resolution from, say, 72 to 300 like it currently is. Okay? The next thing you want to do in this situation, I know you've been told in all the print industry that you need to work in CMYK. Well, when it comes to separating for screen printing and Accurip, I found that you want it to be in RGB color mode. So you're going to come up to image, you're going to go mode, and just make sure you're in RGB color mode. If you're in CMYK mode, just convert it over to RGB color. Let me show you how to separate this thing. Number one way, I'm going to show you two different ways. The first way will be with the channels. I'm going to grab any particular color in the channel. Let's grab the blue. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit duplicate channel. We're going to call this white spot. Okay, there's the channel. To actually have this work as a spot color, everything right now that's black would print white. We don't want it that way. So the first thing I'm going to do is invert this. If you were going to be printing this graphic on a white t-shirt, then you would leave it as is. Now everything that is black will print in white. Okay, now hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, it will shortly. Next thing we're going to do is click on that layer in the channels. We're going to double click it, and then this dialog will pop up. We're going to name this white spot halftone. Make sure to highlight spot color. Now I know this may not make sense as to why we're doing this, but it will shortly. So just convert it to spot color, and we do want this color to be black. I'm actually just going to make it gray so that we can see it here in a second. Anyway, so there's our white spot halftone. So that's one way. Now let's say that we didn't create that, but we want to select all the white in this graphic and convert it to a channel here so that we can then output it as a halftone. Another way to do that is to go to select. You're going to go color range. And then you're going to use the eyedropper and click in the widest area of this image. And you'll see it right down here how it was selected. Hit OK. Now you can create a new layer right here. If I hover over it, you'll see it says create new channel. So I'm going to create that new channel, and I'm going to use the paint bucket tool. Make sure it's filled with white, and I'm going to fill that sucker with white. Unselect it, and I'm going to hit Control I or invert it again. And it's exactly the same thing as doing it this way. It gives you a little bit more control, but sometimes it can be harder to pull out the fine details by doing it with the color selector. Anyway, this is the other way to do it. You do the same thing. You double click it. You'll name this white spot. I'm just going to call it color select so we know the difference. Selector. Okay. And I'm going to make sure this is also a spot color. And I'm going to make this one, just so that we can tell which one's which, red. So this is going to be a red spot color. Okay. Shit. There we go, and there we go. So now if they're both on, you'll see that the red shows up like that, black, whatever. Kind of hard to explain, but these are both spot colors. It's basically two different channels that are exactly the same. So the next stage is going to be deleting these RGB channels because we don't need them anymore. So you're going to just select. Once they're all selected, hit the trash can. It'll give you the pop-up says delete channels. Hit yes. Okay. Now we're down to two spot colors, or in other words, two different films. Now, this is pretty much ready to go, but I never output from Photoshop. I like to output from Illustrator. This seems to be the industry standard, and this is the way that we've always done it. But to be able to place this in Illustrator, we have to do something. We have to convert it to a DCS something or other. I can't remember the name of it. Go File. You're going to go Save As. And then you're going to do DCS 2.0. Also an it's an EPS file is what it is, which can be opened in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so we're going to call this give blood shirt back number 1 EPS. Okay, so we're going to save it as an EPS. This is what you do. You can leave this the same, but under DCS, you want to make sure to select single file with color composite right here. See that? Okay, select that. You don't need to check any of this stuff. It'll all be fine, and you're going to hit OK. That is literally all you have to do in Photoshop. The next step is placing this Photoshop EPS file in Adobe Illustrator so that we can output it as a film using Accurip to create our halftone. God, I feel like I just say too much. Am I saying too much? In Illustrator, I already have my registration template opened up here. You can see we have our registration marks. It also just says info up here in the text. So I'm going to place my EPS file that we just created in Photoshop. So you're going to go to File, select Place, and then you're going to navigate to wherever you save that EPS file. We saved it to the desktop here just for ease of use. Hopefully I can find it quickly. Give blood shirt back number 1 EPS. So I'm going to click it, hit place, take a second to convert, and then it comes up with this little kind of like placement layer. Just click over here and it'll kind of center it up. Now I'm going to make all my necessary adjustments. Now the first thing you should notice is over here in our swatch window, the 2 different colors that we saved. Remember in Photoshop, we filled one of these with the gray spot and then we filled the other one with the red spot. Oops. Right here. Well, now, when we opened it and placed it in Photoshop, it gave us those 2 spot colors right here in our color window. Convenient, right? Now, if we are in our printing and proofing window here, and we open the separations preview, we can turn this on, turn our CMYK off, and you can see there's our gray film, and if we wanted to just print our red film, there's our red film. You're only going to output one of these films. I just wanted to show you the 2 different ways that you can kind of separate it quickly and easily without any other software. And keep in mind, when it comes to separating like photographs and like simulated process or process printing, there are programs that make it a hell of a lot easier. This one right here, I can't remember the name of this. It's been so long since I've actually looked at it. But this is basically an actions menu that I paid for that will auto separate this stuff. I'm trying to show you how to do it manually in Photoshop. So we're going to use our gray layer. So everything's lined up where I want it. I'm going to raise this up a little bit higher actually because we don't need to print all of that white. Okay, I'm going to go to my layers and I'm actually going to make sure that see, I already got lazy and missed a step. This should be in its own kind of layer there, and then that way I can move it below easily. Move these registration marks up holding shift so it stays in line below it. So now I'm going to go document setup, edit artboards, and I'm going to raise this artboard up below these reg marks here. This way we just save film. If I left the artboard that long when you went to put it out to your printer, the roller would feed that much more. This way we only feed what we need. This is all you need to do in terms of actually separating the color. Let's go ahead and save this as wish you were here seps. I'm going to save this to my OneDrive so that Alex can print it. Where is it? Now, because we have a different form of Illustrator out on our computer, I saved this down a version so that he can open it up and output it. So I'm going to save it to CS6. Now let me show you how to print this in Accurip. You're going to go File, Print. Okay, I'm going to make sure to select my Accurip to Epson 4800. And like I show you every time, we're going to select Custom, uncheck Auto Rotate. I got to hit Custom one more time so it fits it right. Basically, you want to make sure Auto Rotate is unchecked, and then you're going to just select Custom. Now again, this is in the Accurip driver. So that's set up under General. Now I'm going to go to Output. Instead of Composite, I'm going to select Separations. I'm going to unselect all of the process colors. And like I said, we're not going to use the red film. We're just going to use the gray film. So I'm also going to uncheck the red. So now all that we will print is this one film, which we will be using white ink on to print a white single color image on a black shirt. Does that make sense? Good. Hit print. And as soon as that's done printing, I'm going to show you the finished film. What I just showed you is literally all it takes to separate a file and then output it to a halftone. If it was useful, like, subscribe, ding the bell, share it on your social media, all that stuff. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one, Print Fam. Take care. Peace.